Fall is a good season, my friends. Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm the Viet Vegan because I'm Vietnam vegan, and today we're making apple crisp because this is one of Eddie's favorite things and I've been making it a bunch lately just to retest this recipe to get the ratio and all that jazz correct, and I believe we've got a winner here. So I'm gonna share it with you because it's apple season. So apple crisp is a really simple, actually, is it apple crisp or apple crumble? I call it apple crisp. There's like a distinct difference between crumble and crisp. I'm using the one that uses oat, so I guess it's a streusel. I don't know, some sort of butter, apple, sugar, oat concoction. That's what we're making today. So over here we have the stuff for the apple filling, and over here we have the stuff for the topping. And I peeled and cut some apples. Most apples are pretty forgiving for apple crisp, but the ones that I like to use are a little sour because then it balances the sugariness of the topping. I find this is a very balanced recipe because I'm using tart apples and like not very much sugar in the streusel, but just enough so that it balances it out. So you get a little bit of like, apple flavor, sweetness, So it's like, you know, you're not like, oh my God, I need a glass of milk or something. Obviously vegan milk, but yeah, so I have here some Macintosh apples and Sweet Tango apples. Both are Canadian grown, which is pretty cool. They're both kind of tart. Sweet Tangos are a little bit more sweet, obviously, than the Macs. So I have 3 Macintosh apples and 1 giant Sweet Tango apple. So you want about 4 medium apples, about a pound of apples for this recipe here. So I've cored them already and I've peeled them. This is a Macintosh apple. You want something that like is kind of like tart but also breaks down a little bit, as well as 1 apple that like holds its shape relatively well. Macintosh, I find when they cook down they just like disintegrate, which can be a great thing or a bad thing depending on what you want to go for. I like a balance of like mush and apple in my crisp, which is why I'm using the Sweet Tango as well as the Macintosh. We gonna slice it up real thin. I'm just using, I think, a regular 8-inch pie pan. It could be a 9-inch, I don't know. One of those like standard Pyrex pie pans. I prefer using glass. I find they conduct the heat the best and like the most evenly, whereas metal tends to conduct it really quickly, often yielding in a burnt crust, or in this case, a burnt filling, but I don't want that. You're gonna look at this and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is too much apple. Trust in the process, okay? You want a little mountain of apples. They cook down. We have our full pie pan of apples. This is not sponsored. I've worked with Ontario apples before. If you want to take a look at their website, they have like a breakdown of the different apples that Ontario grows and what applications are good for, like versus baking, cooking, eating, sauces, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll link it down below. Again, this is not sponsored, but I am working with them for recipes later on, but not in videos. So we have first some lemon juice. This is about a teaspoon or a tablespoon of lemon juice. I just find that helps with like a little bit of liquid here and there. I have some cornstarch and cinnamon. I'm just gonna, well, I was gonna sprinkle it on top, but I just dumped onto one side. So you know what? This is where we are. And then also some brown sugar. This is about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Golden brown sugar, yellow or something light. You can use whatever you want, honestly. You can use coconut, you can use palm sugar. This would be a little bit better in like a bigger bowl, and especially if I had properly, you know, distributed it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just somewhat, you know, distributed a little bit. So it's not just like one clump of cornstarch. So the lemon juice and the cornstarch will sort of bind together to create like a sauce. So it's not just like a watery mess. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add some dollops of butter. So this is about a half cup of butter. We're not gonna put this all in this. This is supposed to be for the crust, but I added a little bit extra on top so that I wouldn't have to grab the butter again. So you're just gonna add little dots, and that's gonna add to your sauce. That kind of keeps the apples kind of delicious and together. So probably about like a teaspoon or a tablespoon total. Those are 2 very different things, but it's not an exact science. You can just do whatever. You just want little dollops of butter here and there, just like little pinches. Those apples are ready. Meanwhile, preheat your oven to 350 degrees, or if you have a really hot oven like me, 325. So we're gonna get some butter in here. This is some vegan butter, don't worry. Every time I mention like a normal ingredient that is like a dairy ingredient or whatever, and I just like assume people realize that it's vegan, I get some angry people, which, I mean, to be fair, I should clarify that everything that I use on here is gonna be vegan, but sometimes y'all get real mad. So we have some earth balance here. We're gonna add some sugar. This is some brown sugar. Gonna dump that in there. All the exact measurements will be on the blog post down below. I just pre-measured them out and I don't remember everything. It's mostly with half cups and teaspoons. So I just added some rolled oats and flour. You can also use instant oats if you want. I just like the shape of rolled oats a little bit better. And then this is some cinnamon. And then what you just do, you just get your hands in there. This is good for kids. You just go to town. It doesn't really matter if they melt too much in your hands because you just want them to be like kind of pea-sized crumbles. So you want to break up the butter with the flour and the cinnamon and the sugar and not spill it all over the table like me. Maybe use a bigger bowl than this, but I don't have a giant glass bowl. I should get one of those. They're good for videos. I just have a metal one and you guys can't really see inside the metal one. So yeah, I just want to say like a big thank you to everyone who commented on my last video saying that it was important for me to take time to like heal and process and like take care of my family and stuff like that. My family's actually like fine now. I mean, like there's always something that comes up with our family, so we're just dealing with a lot of stuff right now. Things are okay. Eddie and I are fine. Yeah, we've been exercising, trying to eat semi healthier / not eat out as much because that's like a big problem for me at the moment. We're trying to save money. We might have to move. There's a lot of stuff going on and we're getting married. It's the whole thing. Okay, so this crumble looks about right. I am missing this flour, so I'm just gonna scoop that bad boy back in there. So basically you want them to be able to like stick together, but also crumble apart if they need to be. So we're just gonna put this stuff on top. So I like to crumble it a little bit just to break it up so it's not just one giant chunk, and then dump it. Just like that, boom. And you're done. Just kidding. You gotta spread it out a little bit more. You just kind of want to arrange it so that's an even sort of layer on top. I've done it in the past where I accidentally clumped it all in the middle, which, you know, was fine, but did not provide a very delicious eating experience for everyone. I kind of like to create a seal around the edges just so that if any like syrup wants to bubble up and out, it has like a barrier of crumble that I have to get through first, but leave lots of like open spaces at the top so that if it needs to bubble, it bubbles in the middle instead of out on the edges. I like to pat it down just a little bit so it kind of like forms like a crust. Not so like perfect that it's like one, you know, dome. All right, so I can take these off. So this is the apple crisp, and now you're gonna bake it for 25 minutes in the oven. So I will see you in 25 minutes. Delicious. Here we go. Very delicious. It's flattened out, as you can see. It's very saucy looking. I'm looking forward to eating this. I may have overbaked it just a little teensy bit. So let's, you know, just give it a little taste, you know what I'm saying? I just scooped out everything but the apples. So as I expected, the Macintosh apples got totally baked down. Let's give it a little taste. So we got a little apple, a little topping. Oh. It's mostly mush on the bottom, but if you pick like an apple that keeps its shape pretty well, it does pretty good. A spy apple would be good for this too, a northern spy. Any cooking apples would be good for this. The crumble is like sweet, but not too sweet, mostly crispy, so it balances out that like mushy apple filling. Oh my God, it's so good. So there you have it, apple crisp. It's super easy. You can do this with basically any fruit, but like I said, you wanna have something sort of like tart on the bottom to balance the sweetness. I don't know if you wanna do this with like any fruit really, any soft fruits. Cherry, strawberry, rhubarb, peach. You wanna make sure you have some sort of acidicness to it. So with strawberries, rhubarb would add that acidity with a little lemon juice. Raspberries, and raspberries are kind of tart on their own, so if you have that plus lemon juice, same sort of formula. That's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. If you make it, please tag me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you post your photos of things. I'm probably there somewhere. I'm the Viet Vegan pretty much everywhere. Even on League of Legends, even though some people might not believe that it's actually me. It's me, and if I'm playing at a really random time of the day, it's because I'm probably procrastinating something. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. The full recipe will, as always, be on the link down below. I'll also link some other apple recipes if you guys are interested in that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a delicious day. Bye! Palm sweaty, something about mom spaghetti. I don't know words to songs. Here it is, your apple crisp, and you can just serve it and eat. No, I'm just kidding. This is my sad attempt at B-roll because I don't have another camera right now. Ooh, crust and a little apple business.